Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie Colours. Thank you so much for joining me. I am back with episode, I think it's 16 of our 4-book colour along in R.J. Hampson's gorgeous book, Awake. I can't believe we're nearly, 2/5 of the way through, which is really awesome. So this one is called A Fresh Pot of Tea. It's this cute little caterpillar. He really reminds me of the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. I'm going to colour him in with some green markers today. So let's start with his body. I'm going to pull out the markers I have here. So I have GY43, G190 and GY3. I am using, as always, my Ohuhu markers. But obviously feel free to change it up and use whatever works for you. So he's nicely sectioned off for us already. Oh, sorry, I'm bumping my camera. I feel like I'm sitting too close. Yeah, he's in lots of nice little sections for us already, so we don't have to do too much work in terms of trying to figure out what we're going to colour first. I'm just going to do little sections of him and work my way down his body. I hope that you are all keeping well. I hope that you are enjoying the last of the autumn months, so to speak. We're heading into December and the winter months and Christmas time. If you celebrate Christmas, it's creeping up on us pretty quick now. I have not put my decorations up yet. I am planning to do so this weekend. We normally don't put our tree up until around about the 1st of December, which this year falls on a Sunday quite nicely, which is good. So I think we're going to put our tree up there. My kids have been pestering me for weeks to put the tree up, but I haven't caved yet because I just feel like if it goes up too early, you're almost like done with it too early, if you know what I mean. Like, I love Christmas, don't get me wrong, but there comes a time when I'm just ready to pack everything away and yeah, get my house back to normal. So I feel like the longer I leave them up, the sooner I'm gonna want to get to that point and it will be too early. So yeah, my plan is to put it up this weekend, which means we'll have a good month of our Christmas tree being up, and I think that's enough really for anybody. I'm sure there are people out there who've had them up for weeks. Yeah, and they've been out for weeks in the shops around here. We've had lots of Christmas trees and Christmas decorations up all over the place, and it is lovely, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it, but in my own home I always feel like, I don't know, I do just get to a point, maybe it's just that post-Christmas thing where you kind of get to a point and you're like, yeah, I just need to pack everything away now. But yeah, this weekend it's going up, so I'm hoping I can pull it out of the cupboard that it's in and everything will be intact and working order, fingers crossed. We have an artificial tree. I do like a real tree. That's what I was trying to say. I do like a real tree, but yeah, I find it's quite hard to maintain a real tree, especially here in the climate, because it's warm and yeah, it's living in air conditioning, and yeah, it makes it quite difficult to keep it alive for very long. So we're just going to use our artificial tree, and I think that'll be fun. And the kids always enjoy decorating and making the house look Christmassy, so I'm looking forward to doing that this weekend. Other than that, it's also a kind of long weekend here. We're celebrating at UAE National Day. So it's the day when the United Arab Emirates was formed. So this weekend is a long weekend celebrating that. And we get Monday and Tuesday off next week, which will be quite nice. Although, unfortunately, I'll probably still end up working, at least for some of it. But my kids have the day off school, and I think my husband is off as well. So yeah, it'll be nice. So looking forward to that. And then it's only a couple of weeks of school, and then it's the Christmas or winter break. So yeah, this year is really flying by, really going fast. It's quite scary actually how fast it's going. Trying trying to decide where I want. I think I will put a bit of shade down that side as well. Yeah, it's just going so quickly. Somebody once said to me that apparently time does seem to go faster the older you get, and I have to admit it does feel like that sometimes. It does feel like the days just fly by. I don't know what it is, but yeah, this whole year has just gone so fast, and I am really looking like, I have to admit, I love the winter months here. The weather is lovely. It's really nice outside. It's a bit cooler. You can kind of go for a walk and not get drenched in sweat, which is quite nice. So our temperatures at the moment, we're getting highs of around 34, sometimes 35 degrees, but it's dropping down in the evenings. It's dropping down to about, I want to say like 26, 27 degrees. It's just lovely. Really, really nice. So yeah, this time of year is always really lovely in the UAE, and I really enjoy it. And I just, yeah, it's nice. I am taking some time off over Christmas from work, so I will have at least a week, if not 2, off over Christmas, which will be nice, and I can relax. We've got some family coming over to see us, which is always nice, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lovely relaxing time, hopefully, before all the madness kicks in again next year. Okay, I think I'm going to do all his little arms and legs in these same green colours. So yeah, feel free to fast forward if you want, because this is going to be all the same kind of colouring as we go along. But as always, I like to show the whole process from start to finish so that you can see me colouring in real time. I think that's kind of fun to see sometimes. I don't know, you can let me know whether or not you find it helpful. But as these pages really don't take too long at all, I feel like it's no hardship to show the whole process. He's so cute. And I love these greens actually. I wasn't 100% sure when I picked my colour combinations out whether I was going to be happy with this green combination, but I really like it. I'm going to do something a little bit different on his kind of belly and face area, just to break it up a bit. But these are really nice, vivid kind of greens, aren't they? Yellowy greens. And they're blending nicely together, which is good. So for those of you that have not seen my other videos of this series, I always colour in real time. Each page takes me about between 30 and 40 minutes generally. Some are a little bit quicker, some slightly longer, but on the whole they're around about 30 to 40 minutes long. And I colour in real time, as I've said several times now, and I use Ohuhu markers for all of my colouring, and just work on blending the markers together and creating a fun little scene. I don't worry about adding any backgrounds. This is all about being quick and easy and just a fun page to do. So for me, backgrounds always add a little bit of added, I won't say stress, but a little bit of added pressure because I never quite know what to do. So I leave backgrounds off. I just colour the images and just enjoy the process, and it's a lot of fun. And we're nearly, we're really filling up this book now. So as I say, I believe, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is page number 16. So I think I worked out that by Christmas, in fact, I worked out that we do have a page on Christmas Day. So Christmas falls on a Wednesday, and I always post my videos on Wednesday. So the 25th is a Wednesday, so I will be posting a video. I will have pre-recorded it. I won't be doing it on Christmas Day, but there will be a video on Christmas Day for you to colour along with, and we will be at that point we will be 40% of the way through the book. So I think that's quite cool. It's quite nice to see the book filling up. We're nearly at the halfway mark. So I figure by the end of January, we will be at the halfway mark, which is, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Halfway to completing a book, and it will be my first book that I've ever completed. So yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm quite excited about that because, you know, I feel like it's an achievement to have a book completed, even if it is, you know, like a quick and easy page like these ones. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to carrying on with this little project and getting to a completed book. I think I worked it out, was it the beginning? I want to say it was the beginning of July that we are going to have a full book. If we can keep it up with one a week, we will have our book completed by the beginning of July. So I think that's quite exciting, and it's nice to know that it is achievable. Obviously, yeah, I'm working. I have project books and a few books now, but none of them are as close to being finished as this one. This is now my most coloured book after doing this page. I think in one of my Hannah Lynn books I have done, how many pages have I done? 15. So I think this just pips out. Okay, so we've done all his body. I'm going to go and do his face and his kind of belly bits here, and I'm going to do them in a lighter shade of green. So I have a GY, I'll do them in order, GY3, GY4 and GY7 that I'm going to use for that. So the GY3 is the lightest of the colours that I use for his body. And I'm just going to, again, we're going to do this in sections, just to add a little bit of colour on. And I always go lightest, what am I saying? Always go darkest to lightest when I'm colouring. That's my own personal preference, but feel free to mix it up, do whatever works for you. There's no hard and fast rules with this. It's all just about having fun and enjoying it. But for me, I find that if I use my darkest marker first, I just find it easier. I can lay in where my shadows need to go and then just blend out with my lighter tone markers. I generally, as a rule, I use 3 markers of the same color family, and I use like a light, medium and a dark, and I, like I say, always go in with my darkest one first, then my mid-tone, and then my lightest. Sometimes I'll go back over the same area a couple of times in that order just to get it all blended out nicely, but I generally just follow those rules and it seems to work for me. Other colorists will use their lightest marker and lay in the lightest all over the page and then go in with their darker tone markers. But like I say, it is just personal preference, so don't feel like there's a hard and fast rule. I am no expert at this by any stretch of the imagination. I just do what I feel works. I did use alcohol markers a lot in my card making journey, which is where I kind of got a feel for them, and after watching many videos learnt, I think, fairly well how to use them. I'm, as I say, no expert, but I have a fair bit of experience in working with them now, and I feel like I know a little bit about them, and I really enjoy using them. But yeah, I'm, again, no expert. I just kind of do what works for me, but feel free to mix things up. If you don't like the way I do something, feel free to try something different for yourself. As I say, all about having fun, enjoying the process, and yeah, getting a book complete at some point in the not too distant future. Okay, let's do his face. So my black ink, I find that in some places it does run a bit. Again, so if you have not watched any of my other videos, I was using my kind of home printer, which is an inkjet printer, just a really basic, I think it was an HP printer or something like that. But it started, I probably just need to give it a little bit of love and do a bit of maintenance on it, but it started leaving kind of streaky lines on it. So I decided to try my printer at work to see if that would help. And it does print out a lot smoother, but I have found that the ink bleeds with this printer, whereas the one from my home printer, the inkjet printer from my home, is the ink doesn't bleed. I can go over the black lines with no problem. But with this one I have to be a little bit careful not to go over the black lines quite so much. You can see down here where I have, and it's just gone a little bit, you can see it's kind of just bled a little bit there. So I do have to be a little bit careful. Okay, his face is quite a big area. So I'm just going to kind of go over this a few times. And again, I've said this numerous times in my videos, but the key to alcohol markers is to get your paper quite saturated with alcohol so that the colors blend together a little bit easier. So yeah, that's what I found worked. Just keep going over the same area. If you're not happy with the blends, keep going over them. Okay, so that's pretty much our caterpillar done. Let's do his kind of spots and spikes and things. So for that, I'm going to use some red markers. And we're going with a bit of a Christmas color combination. So we've got R8, R6 and R160. This is one of my favorite red color combinations from the Ohuhu markers. And I'm just going to add it to his little spots here. Again, starting with my darkest marker, because these are smaller areas, I can do a few at a time. And I'm going to blend out with my mid-tone. Try not to go outside the lines, which I do occasionally. And then I'm going to go in with my lightest and just finish that off. I thought the red gave a nice pop of colour, and he's wearing a fez, and I cannot imagine a fez in any other colour other than red. So I'm going to do his fez in red as well. If you don't know, the fez is the style of hat that he's wearing, and I think it's, I believe it's like Moroccan or something like that. I want to say it's a Moroccan style of hat. But yeah, whenever I've seen them, they're always red, and I can't picture any other colour. So I decided to bring the red through in other parts of the page, because I didn't just want one pop of red, although that would look quite cool as well. But I figured I could use the red in other areas on the page and kind of make it look a bit more cohesive. So that's another thing that I do when I'm colouring, is I try and use the same colours on different areas throughout the page, so that I don't just have like one kind of blob of colour. Sometimes that can look quite effective, but sometimes it can make the page look a little bit disjointed as well, not quite as put together. If you spread the colour around a little bit throughout the page, it makes it kind of flow a little bit nicer. And I think that looks quite fun. It's quite striking with the red. Such a cute picture. Okay, so let's do his little fez when I've got the red out. Nice bright colour on top of his head. And I'll just blend that out. Okay, while I've got this red, I'm gonna just add a little bit of the red colour to the teapot as well, because I just felt like I didn't want to bring any other colours in too much, and I thought I might as well use the red. Now the lines on the teapot are a little bit thinner, so unlike me, you should try and be a little bit more careful so you don't kind of go over the lines like I have. It's fine if you do, it's not the end of the world. But it's kind of going to have this, like, I don't know if this is a tea cozy on it or if it's a design into the teapot, I don't know, but it's going to be red. Okay, so that's all the red done. I've just got a tiny bit of black. Again, fezzes, I always think of these kind of tassel parts of them as being black, so I have CG209 and CG207 just to do this part of the hat, the little tassel part. And it's rather than just going in with a black, it's a dark kind of charcoaly grey. But again, every time I see a fez, this is the colour combination that I have in mind. You could of course do any colour you wanted, but it's just what springs to mind when I think about it. Okay, for the teapot and teacup and the saucer, I'm going to use some BG markers. I've got BG 68 and BG 4. Now don't be fooled, the BG 68 actually looks like the lighter colour if you look at the top, but it's actually the darker colour. So I'm going to start with that and kind of add that in there. It's kind of like an icy blue, really. And you could of course just leave your teapot white if you wanted. You could make it any color you wanted, but I felt like the blue would work nicely with the red and not be too overpowering against all the other strong colors that I've got going on here. But yeah, just, you know, it doesn't really matter, does it? This is all about having fun. So go with whatever works for you. Sometimes I can spend absolutely hours thinking about color combinations and what I'm going to use. Other times it just comes to me really, really quickly and I'm like, I'll use that, I'll use that, or I'll use that. But yeah, it's not always clear cut. And sometimes it's really hard to visualize what it's going to look like and how it's going to work. And you kind of like, yeah, it can be a bit tricky sometimes, colors, can't they? But with these pages, it doesn't really matter because it's, as I say, it's all just about having a little bit of fun. And hopefully, if nothing else, we are achieving that. Okay, he's almost done. This hasn't taken long at all, really. He's so fun. I just love him. I haven't bought any of RJ's new books. I love all of his artwork, and I keep eyeing up his what are they called now? Hold on, I'll show you these colours. BR1 and E170, which I'm going to use for my table. I think BR1 is the darker colour, I can't remember. A scrap of cardboard here. I'm pretty sure it's the darker one. Yeah. The BR1. Again, it's one of those ones that's deceiving because it's a bit hard to tell which is darker and which is lighter, but the BR1 is the darker one. Yeah, RJ's new books. What are they called now? There's Mountain King, and there is his newest one, Hide and Seek. Oh, it looks absolutely amazing, and I would really, really like to get it, but I'm trying to be a little bit restrained because I have far too many books and far too many uncolored books, and I have a ton of RJ Hampson books that I haven't colored in. So I have Serendipity, I have Mr. Fogarty's Around the World, and I have, what's the other one I've got? Midnight Mischief. I've got those three that I haven't colored in yet, so I feel like I can't really justify buying another RJ book until I have at least made a start in those books. So yeah, I haven't got either of his new books yet, although I do really, really like them. But yeah, especially the Lost and Found one. I think that one looks absolutely adorable. Some amazing images in that one. But yeah, I need to finish what I've got first. Or not finish, but at least, like I say, at least make a start in them before I go ahead and, you know, buy more. That's my new kind of, I was going to say New Year's resolution. It's not New Year yet, but that's, I keep saying it all the time. it's always my plan, but sometimes it doesn't work and I end up buying lots more books, but I'm trying to be better about that. Okay, so there is our little caterpillar guy all done. The only thing that's left to do is to add some white accents. So I'm going to use a Signo Uniball Broad today. I'm not sure where I've put my white jelly roll, the thicker jelly roll. So I'm going to use this one instead. It does the same job. And again, when I do this, I kind of just wing it. I don't really know what I'm doing with these gel pen highlights. I just kind of pop them in and hope for the best. Yeah, so, you know, it's not going to do it any harm. It's not going to make the page look awful or anything like that. It's just going to add a little bit of interest to it. But yeah, feel free to put your highlights in wherever you want, or if you want to leave them off completely, feel free to do that as well. I always think it just adds a little bit of something extra to the page, and it's kind of it kind of emphasizes that kind of cartoony look. I think some pages really suit this edition. Some pages I feel probably don't need it. What I would consider the more realistic pages probably don't need so much in the way of white highlight details, but ones like this I think really benefit from it. Just adds something to the page and makes it look a bit more fun. But like I say, I never quite know where to put the lines and whether I'm doing the right thing or making a bit of a mess, but it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to add a few to him. I want to make his body look nice and shiny. His little arms and legs, there's so many. I guess it would be quite helpful to have this many hands, wouldn't it? Because then you could definitely spend a lot of time colouring if you had this many hands. You'd be able to multitask a lot easier. So just a few lines, a few dots here and there. Nothing too taxing, just like I say, go with whatever you think works. You by no means have to follow where I'm putting my things. I'm going to add a few dots in here. Yeah, just kind of make it look interesting. Let's add a few. Let's add a few around the back. Which I know is kind of weird because the light wouldn't necessarily be shining on this area, but it adds a little bit of something extra. And I think that's pretty much it for the white gel pen. I think that's all I'm going to add. The only other thing that I'm going to do is, do I want to add? Let's add some glossy accents if I can get them out, because I always have trouble with my glossy accents. They always get a bit stuck, so I'm going to try and put the pen in first. Let's see if I can declag or what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean. Get rid of any lumps and bumps in my glossy accents. So this is glossy accents. It's like it dries clear, but it adds a little bit of dimension and shine to a page, and even though I've cleared that out, it's still stuck. Oh, it's so frustrating. It would be nice if it was just, I can see there's like a lump of glue in there that I cannot get out. I think it's just going to clog it up. Oh, I don't know if it's going to work. Let's try. Keep my pen out this time just to make sure. Oh, I don't think it's going to come. Oh, is that? No. Oh, yeah, it did eventually. Oh, it's got a big lump in it. That's what was clogging it up. Right, let's see if I can dig that out without making too much of a mess. Okay, I think I've sorted that out now. So I'm just going to add some Glossy Accents to its eye. Oh, it's a little bit lumpy. That's okay. I think it will dry clear and will look fine. Okay, and that is it. I'll leave that off to the side and sort that out in a second. So that is our 16th page in our gorgeous book Awake by R.J. Hampson. This one is called A Fresh Pot of Tea. I hope you enjoyed colouring it with me. Take care everybody, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!